Since the president's announcement of a troop drawdown, the violence in Afghanistan shows no sign of stopping. At least 35 people were killed in a suicide bombing Saturday at a clinic in eastern Afghanistan. It was one of the deadliest attacks on civilians this year. Joining me from Washington, MSNBC military analyst General Barry McCaffrey. General, good morning.
Morning, Alex.
Sir, your assessment of the real situation on the ground in Afghanistan. Where are we in this war?
Well, I think we're in trouble. The bottom line is we're fighting a culture of corruption with an incompetent government. Karzai's turned into a political disaster. The country's walked away from supporting the war. And the president's started an ambiguous strategy that essentially is a strategic withdrawal. So who knows what's going to happen? You know, tremendous engagement by the U.S., thousands of casualties. We're running $10 billion a month, and the outcome looks extremely questionable at this point.
How long until you believe the Karzai government is ready to take over? And if it takes over, will that bring about the change that the United States is hoping for?
Well, you know, there's a great article, op-ed in today's, I think, New York Times, Tom Friedman, essentially talking none of this will work unless the Afghans want it and can make it work. So I think the problem is that we've actually got an Afghan army that looks like it can fight. We've got a government. We've got road networks. But there seems to be a lack of political will. Karzai's unstable, volatile. That's the problem, Alex, not really the degree to which the U.S. has trained or enabled infrastructure.
Well, then, General, if that's the problem as you see it, should there be such opposition, or I guess concern is a better word, about the president's military drawdown there? Is the solution, does it lie within the U.S. military's presence in Afghanistan, or are there so many other things you got to put together to make this all work?
I think there's so many other things you got to put together. I mean, the strategic challenge we face is actually in Pakistan, which is unstable and nuclear armed and giant and a sanctuary for the war in Afghanistan. So that's really the major variable. We're not doing too well there either. It's questionable what U.S. power can actually accomplish in this part of the world. Bottom line is, I think the president did probably the best he could, given domestic politics, to give the situation in Afghanistan a chance to work. Whether it will or not is unlikely.
With the president calling for the troop withdrawal, though, the drawdown, other nations are doing the same thing. You know, David Cameron has said the Brits are going to be out of there by 2015, and others are taking and parsing downward as well. Does that mean potentially more deaths for U.S. soldiers, the ones that are still there?
Well, I think the U.S. Casualty rate, which has been significant, will not get worse. I think we're going to start pulling out, basically. By 18 months from now, I would anticipate we'll actually come out with 30,000 or more. We'll start withdrawing from the contested areas. We'll start falling back in on Kabul and Kandahar. So I don't think the casualties will be the problem. The problem will be, will it work, and was the ultimate sacrifice worth it or not? And again, I think the problem is Afghan culture, corruption, incompetence, sanctuary in Pakistan, and Karzai, a political disaster to us.
I'll tell you, sobering words there from you, but we appreciate them as always, General Barry McCaffrey.
Yeah, good to be with you, Alex.
Thank you.